Do you ever feel like you're holding on to so much stress, frustration, and even sadness that it's starting to affect your health or your relationships? Like, no matter how much you try to push it all down, it just keeps bubbling up at the worst times? What if I told you that bottling up those emotions could actually be harming you physically, emotionally, and mentally? And not only that, it's likely negatively affecting the people you care about the most, even though that's not your intention. In today's video, I'm going to show you how journaling can be a powerful way to process those emotions and start healing. I'll break down what happens when we don't process our emotions, how that can take a toll on our health, and share a personal story about how journaling has helped me to start letting go of bitterness and stress. Plus, I'll give you some easy steps to start journaling today, even if you've never done it before. Hi, I'm Frida, and welcome to my channel where we focus on self care through journaling. So, what exactly is journaling for emotional healing? It's about using journaling as a way to express and release emotions that might be weighing us down. It's not about being a great writer or finding the perfect words. It's about getting our thoughts and our feelings out of our head and onto paper so that we can begin to process them in a healthy way. For me, journaling has become essential when I'm feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges. From caring for my mom who has dementia and a tendency to be verbally and physically aggressive with me, to running my business, to dealing with the stress of broken relationships and just everyday life in the world we live in now. I used to think that if I ignored my emotions, that I'd be fine. Because when we're overwhelmed, or at least when I'm overwhelmed, I feel like I don't have time to deal with the emotions. But what I didn't realize was that those unprocessed emotions could lead to unexpected results. Like not having the emotional capacity to remember the good things because I'm so busy in those moments trying to repress the big painful emotions that I can't truly feel or be present in the moment to remember the good stuff. Or the fact that all those unprocessed feelings can grow and develop into what my grandfather called the bitter root. And let me tell you from personal experience, bitterness or that bitter root that my grandfather would talk about when I was a child is difficult to extract from within us once we allow it to start growing. Not impossible, but difficult. Journaling has been a way for me to start to let go of that bitterness and start healing. Let's talk about what happens when we don't process our emotions. You might think that pushing them aside will make them go away, but they don't. Unprocessed emotions don't just disappear, they sit with us, building up until they start affecting us in ways we might not even realize. Physically, unprocessed emotions can show up as tension in our bodies. We might notice headaches, muscle aches, or trouble sleeping. Maybe you've had a stiff neck or tension in your shoulders that just wouldn't go away. That may be your body's way of telling you that something's off emotionally. For me, I tend to carry stress in my neck, my lower back, and my right hip. There have been times when my back would start to spasm so badly that all I could do was lay down. I remember this one time when I was a high school principal when I had pushed myself too much for too long. I was so busy that I wasn't getting enough sleep. I wasn't eating well. I probably wasn't hydrating well. This had been going on for weeks. And I absolutely had not been exercising because who has time to exercise when you're sleep deprived, right? At least that was my thought. I remember standing in my office talking to one of my assistant principals and our school resource officer about something related to the school. When my back started to spasm so intensely that I went from my standing position to being doubled over my desk. Then the room started to spin. In addition to having intense back spasms, I was also experiencing a vertigo episode. All I could do in that moment was try to get as close to the floor as possible before I fell over from the intensity of it all. So, what did I do? I stretched out on the floor. Now, I'm a germaphobe by nature, so the fact that I stretched out on the floor in my office at school should tell you that I was not doing well. My assistant principal and school resource officer immediately knew something was definitely wrong. This sounds like quite a scene, right? Well, while I was on the floor with my eyes closed, praying that the room would stop spinning around me, guess who walked in? The executive director of secondary schools. I would get a visit from the district office while I'm laying on the floor in my office, experiencing intense back spasms and praying that the room would stop spinning. I would say that I was embarrassed by the entire situation, but honestly, my world was spinning too much from the vertigo for me to be concerned about embarrassment. And my back was hurting way too bad from the back spasms for me to really be concerned about what he thought. My body had tried to warn me. It had told me to slow down, that I needed to regroup and prioritize taking care of myself. But I didn't listen until it made me listen. I knew that my back spasms were usually related to stress, but I hadn't paused to take the time that I needed to process the stress that I was feeling or to take care of my basic needs like getting enough rest, eating properly, or exercising. I also knew that my vertigo bouts usually came from me being extremely exhausted, from extended periods of stress, and from suffering from seasonal allergies. But still, I didn't take the time to do what I needed to when my body was telling me that I needed to regroup. I know now that it would have been beneficial for me to consistently incorporate journaling into my days, to make sure I was getting enough rest, to make sure I was eating properly, all those things. I knew it then, but just hadn't realized until that moment how not listening to my body could have a detrimental impact. Journaling would have helped me to process my emotions and may have prevented me from being lying on the floor when my supervisor walked into my office. Take a moment, please, is my challenge to you, and pause and reflect on what your body might be telling you. Take a quick mental scan of your body. Close your eyes if it's helpful for helping you to focus. Start at the top of your head and work your way down. Do you notice any tension in your neck or your shoulders? Is there any tightness in your chest or discomfort in your lower back? Pay attention to the areas where you might feel aches, pains, or stiffness. Now ask yourself, could these physical sensations be linked to emotions you haven't processed? Have you been carrying stress, frustration, or sadness that you pushed aside? Often our bodies give us signals when our emotions have been left unaddressed. It's important that we listen to them. Taking a moment to listen to those signals can be the first step toward emotional healing and from ending up in a situation like I did, on the floor, trying to close your eyes tight enough to make the world stop spinning around you. So pause and think, what is your body telling you right now? And please listen to it. In addition to contributing to temporary situations like mine, long term emotional suppression has been linked to serious health issues like high blood pressure, a weakened immune system, and chronic pain. And then there's the impact that it can have on relationships. I've experienced this personally. When I was holding on to all those unprocessed feelings, it became harder for me to be patient or to be present in that moment with the people I love. I would snap over little things or withdraw when I was feeling overwhelmed. FYI, I'm more likely to withdraw than to snap, and I'm really good at withdrawing. So good, in fact, that if you're not looking, you'll probably completely miss it. I'm not proud of that fact. I'm sharing my story so that you can be better and do better than I have done when facing difficult situations and complicated emotions. I'm also sharing it so that you can look for the same signs in the people who you love. Now, I've given you some examples from my own personal life to explain why journaling is so important. It's a safe, healthy way to release your emotions before they start to affect your health and your relationships. Here are some reasons why journaling is so powerful. It provides clarity and focus. When emotions are tangled up inside, writing them down helps you to sort through the mess and bring clarity to what's really going on. Journaling also is an emotional release. Journaling gives you a space to let go of your feelings before they overwhelm or overtake you. It's like opening a pressure valve, but with journaling, you're more in control of the release. Journaling is also great for self reflection and growth. As you journal consistently, you start to see patterns in your own emotions and behaviors. This reflection is where our true healing begins. Journaling is great for stress reduction. It has been shown to reduce stress, which can improve our physical health by lowering our blood pressure and reducing tension. Journaling is also helpful in creating better relationships. When we regularly process our emotions, we're more patient and present with the people we love. We also show up with a clearer, calmer mind, which is beneficial in and of itself. All right, so you're ready to give journaling a try, but you're not sure exactly where to start. Maybe you have never journaled before, or maybe you've tried it but just couldn't stick with it. Don't worry. I've got a few simple tips that can help you to begin. Start small. You don't need to write a novel. Just a few sentences about how you're feeling and what's been on your mind can actually make a big difference. Create a safe space. Find a quiet, comfortable spot where you can write without distractions. Make it a calming space for you to unwind. Use music if that's good for you, candles, a warm cup of tea or coffee. Make it your own and make it a place where you want to be. Use prompts. If you're not sure what to write, start with prompts. Try questions like, what emotions have I been holding on to? Or, what's one thing I need to let go of today? Be honest. The key to journaling is being real with yourself. Don't worry about how it sounds. This is your space to be vulnerable and authentic. Make it a habit. Even just 5 minutes a day can make a difference. The more consistent you are with your journaling, the more you'll notice how much lighter you feel over time. So, why should you give journaling a try? Let's recap. Because we know when we don't process our emotions, they don't just disappear. They sit with us, they weigh us down, and over time they can start to affect our health and our relationships. Journaling gives us a simple, accessible way to let go of those emotions and start healing. And here's the best part. You don't need anything fancy. Just a journal, a pen, and a few minutes of your time. You owe it to yourself to feel unburdened. And journaling is one of the most powerful tools to help you release those heavy emotions. If you're looking for a place to start, check out our Simply Chic journal collection. They're simple and they provide plenty of space for you to write. They're sprinkled with motivation and inspirational sayings to encourage you on your journey in journaling as well. You can check them out on my website, which is linked in the description below. But honestly, what matters most is that you start. Whether you start with one of my journals or one that you already have, just start. So, my friend, that's why journaling for emotional healing is such a powerful tool. It helps you process emotions, reduce stress, and allows you to show up better for yourself and the people you care about. If you've been feeling weighed down by emotions, I encourage you to give journaling a try. You owe it to yourself to reduce the emotional weight, and journaling can be a perfect place to start. If this video resonated with you, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content on self-care and journaling, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear how journaling has helped you, or if you're thinking about starting. And don't forget to check out my journals if you need a simple, supportive place to begin your journaling journey. In our next video, we'll be diving into journaling for emotional balance, where we'll talk about how journaling can help you track and manage your moods so that you can stay emotionally grounded, no matter what life throws your way. You don't want to miss it. See you in the next video.